So, I finally finished Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson, and now it's time to discuss it. And guess what? I decided this time I would write kind of sort of a script for this, so you might see my eyes darting off to the side or something, which I'm sorry, but I mean, it'll make this a lot more straightforward than me trying to come up with everything off the top of my head. So, let's get started, shall we? So, the story had me engaged from start to finish. The reason for this is because it incorporated many elements from some of my favorite anime. The influence from Kimi no Na wa, known as Your Name in English, is not only apparent, but admitted, and I love it. The concept of two star-crossed lovers bound by otherworldly forces and having to figure out how to transcend said forces is a romantic concept. Although this is not an original concept by any means, especially from the perspective of an anime fan. Despite this, I think it's important to remember that just because an overall concept isn't unique, and just because I can point out dozens of potential influences from sources that have done it before, doesn't make the story any less valuable, as long as the story does something grand with its unique elements, which raises the question: does the story do something unique? Can it stand on its own? The answer, in my opinion, is yes. Starting at page 1, I was immediately swept up by the unique characters and worlds. The idea of a warrior with a paintbrush is intriguing and tantalizing, and the city of Kirito, a frigid world shrouded in eternal night with floating neon lines lighting it up, gives off a cyberpunk vibe. The character who lives here, Painter, is a lone wolf type character. Deep down, he wishes for connection, but handles the fight with the nightmares on his own. He is a laid-back character, which stems from lack of inspiration. Despite this, though, he has a good heart, which drives him to do his job, although he feels underappreciated because of the amount of people who can do his job, and has to work hard to survive, living off dry ramen a lot of the nights. The other character, Yumi, who is a chosen priestess hailing from a scalding hot world called Torio, plays as kind of a yin to the yang of Painter. She is driven and inspired by her duties, which were entrusted to her as a child. Her duty is to stack rocks in a formation to summon spirits in order to help her people. She is 1 in 14, so her role is seen as very important, and is treated very lavishly because of it. Her role in the story is kind of the inexperienced blank slate so that Painter can act as a guide towards her. The duality between the characters makes their connection all the more interesting, as they are forced to learn from each other's contrasting lives, and also how they decide to adapt to each other's worlds, seeing how another perspective handles the situation differently. What we have here is two drastically different characters stepping into each other's shoes and growing from it, which is a beautiful concept. Although Kimi no Na wa, or Your Name, does something similar, I find that Yumi and the Nightmare Painter does a better job exploring the concept, leveraging the pacing of a novel over a film. What I find beautiful about the connection is that although the characters are yin and yang, they are drawn together by their passion and their respective art. It's a romantic thought that despite our differences, there is something that can transcend cultural and personality differences. In regards to the primary antagonists, the Nightmares, they aren't the most unique villains out there, as they remind me a lot of the Heartless from Kingdom Hearts, but I do like that they are dispatched with painting and found that very unique. Another thing I would like to praise the story for is the narration. I'm not familiar with Sanderson's other works, but I really enjoyed the fourth wall breaking, self-aware narrations. It brings a lot of humor to the story, but also acts as a way to explain certain aspects of the story that the reader may not pick up on themselves. But I also have a critique about this, which I will now transition to. Although I find the narration enjoyable, I also see it as kind of lazy. It almost feels like having Claptrap or Deadpool from Borderlands in the story, which is a funny thing, but being able to explain things like that almost feels like a cheat code for the author. The story is also very convenient even without the narrator. You have a chosen character gifted with divine abilities. You have these almost fourth wall breaking near omniscient characters to guide the main characters through their journey with MacGuffins in tow. What's funny is, any other story I would probably be upset about these things. But in Yumi and the Nightmare Painting, it feels right? It feels fun. Honestly, this is more of a nitpick than a complaint. I'm just mentioning it because it could theoretically bother some people. Other than that, I don't really have any other complaints, which means all there is to do from this point is talk about my final conclusions. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter is a love letter to anime, blended with some sci-fi and fantasy elements. It perfectly captures the same energy and magic that made romance anime so magical to me back when I was a fan, even reigniting some of those same old feelings within me that movies like Kimi no Na wa or Suzume sparked in me. Although there are a lot of familiar elements in the story, and although it comes off as too convenient at times, the perfect blend of humor, romance, and heartwarming moments make the story well worth checking out, whether you're an anime fan or not. Anyway, that concludes my non-spoiler opinions on this story. I do intend on making another video about the morals and themes of this story. I feel like I can't do that without spoiling it, so I'm kind of keeping that separate from this video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you check this book out. It's really good. Bye.